What if you could perceive beyond the physical world, beyond the veil of appearances, to glimpse hidden truths and the vast, untapped potential that life quietly holds? What if within you lay a dormant power, ancient and sacred, that could reshape your experience of reality itself? This is not the realm of fantasy, but of the inner world, where the third eye, a concept echoed across spiritual traditions and philosophical systems, emerges as a symbol of awakened consciousness. Often referred to as the seat of higher awareness, the third eye transcends cultural boundaries. In Hinduism, it is known as Ajna, the sixth chakra, believed to govern intuition, foresight, and the deeper wisdom that exists beyond logic. In Buddhist teachings, it is the portal to nirvana, the sublime state of enlightenment where all illusions dissolve. Ancient Egypt envisioned it through the Eye of Horus, a mystical emblem representing divine perception and spiritual protection, capable of witnessing both the seen and the unseen. The spiritual significance of this inner eye is profound. It is said to be the gateway to expanded states of consciousness, allowing seekers to grasp the interconnected nature of existence. To open the third eye is not merely to see differently, it is to become different. It invites a transformation from reactive awareness to reflective presence, from surface identity to inner truth. Activating the third eye is a pivotal step in the journey of personal evolution. It awakens dormant faculties, enhanced intuition, telepathic sensitivity, even glimpses of remote vision that challenge our conventional understanding of what is possible. But more than developing powers, it reshapes perception, dissolves illusions, and fosters a deeper sense of purpose and unity with the cosmos. Today, we begin a journey through time, uncovering how ancient civilizations understood and revered this inner gateway to the divine. From the wisdom of sages to the symbols etched into temple walls, the third eye has always stood as a bridge between the visible and the invisible, the known and the unknowable. Through mindful practice, spiritual discipline, and sincere self-inquiry, this center of perception can be stirred from slumber, revealing a world far richer and more interconnected than the senses alone could ever show. Since antiquity, the concept of the third eye has both intrigued and empowered the human spirit. Across continents and civilizations, this enigmatic center of perception has been revered as a key to higher knowledge and spiritual awakening. To truly grasp the magnitude of the third eye's potential, one must venture into the historical roots from which its mystical legacy has grown, and into the practices that have endured across centuries in the quest for transcendent insight. In ancient Egypt, the third eye was symbolized by the Eye of Horus, also known as the Wedjat. This potent glyph was more than a talisman. It was a sacred embodiment of protection, vitality, and spiritual prosperity. Representing the restored eye of the falcon-headed god Horus, it came to signify divine vision, sight that transcended the ordinary and pierced the veils of illusion. Egyptians believed that this symbol granted access to elevated planes of understanding, allowing the bearer to perceive realities beyond the material. The mystery schools of Egypt, which flourished for over 3,000 years, served as centers of esoteric education. Here, initiates were rigorously trained in philosophy, astronomy, sacred mathematics, and the inner sciences of the soul. Among their core teachings was the cultivation of the third eye, seen not merely as a concept, but as a living doorway to divine wisdom. Within these sanctuaries of sacred knowledge, the activation of the third eye was pursued through meditation, ritual chanting, invocation of sacred symbols, and ceremonial practices. Priests and adepts engaged in trance-inducing techniques, sometimes aided by sacred plants or psychoactive substances, believed to unlock altered states of awareness and thin the boundary between the physical and metaphysical realms. Each practice was designed to open inner sight, to cultivate not just knowledge, but gnosis, the knowing that transforms the knower. In the Vedic traditions of India, the third eye is known as Ajna, the sixth chakra, positioned between the eyebrows. It is the spiritual command center, the locus of intuition and the visionary mind. Ancient yogis taught that awakening this chakra brings not only insight, but alignment with the cosmic mind. Through practices like dhyana, meditation, pranayama, breath control, and kundalini yoga, seekers attempt to raise their consciousness and establish communion with higher realms. Sacred texts, such as the Upanishads and the Yoga Sutras, speak of this center as a gateway, one that must be opened with discipline and purity to access transcendent perception and spiritual liberation. In Buddhist philosophy, the third eye is often linked to the deep seeing of the inner world, the ability to penetrate the nature of reality and dissolve the illusion of self. The Buddha himself is frequently depicted with the urna, a subtle mark on the forehead representing awakened vision. Meditation practices such as vipassana and zazen are designed to sharpen awareness and cultivate clarity of mind, leading the practitioner toward a state where the third eye opens not through effort, but through stillness. In this silence, the illusion of duality falls away, and the mind perceives with luminous clarity the interconnectedness of all things. In our modern age, the ancient mysticism of the third eye has begun to intersect with the empirical inquiries of science. What was once shrouded in symbolism and spiritual metaphor is now being examined through the lens of biology and neurochemistry. At the center of this convergence lies the pineal gland, a small pine-cone-shaped organ nestled deep within the brain, often referred to as the physical counterpart of the third eye. Its location near the geometric center of the skull and its mysterious functions have long captivated both spiritual seekers and scientific minds alike. The pineal gland plays a crucial role in regulating the body's circadian rhythms through the production of melatonin, the hormone that governs sleep-wake cycles. Yet, what makes the pineal gland truly unique is its biological architecture. Unlike most regions of the brain, it is not shielded by the blood-brain barrier, allowing it to interface more freely with the bloodstream, an unusual trait that suggests heightened sensitivity to environmental and chemical signals. Even more intriguing is its cellular composition, pinealocytes, which bear a striking resemblance to photoreceptors in the retina, hint at a deep evolutionary link between this inner gland and the outer senses of sight. In spiritual traditions, this similarity is more than coincidence, it is affirmation. The pineal gland is seen as a forgotten organ of perception, an eye turned inward, and modern discoveries about the gland's crystalline structures support this metaphor. Within the pineal exist tiny calcite crystals, comprised of calcium phosphate, that exhibit piezoelectric properties, meaning they can generate electrical charges in response to mechanical stress. Some researchers theorize that these crystals might be capable of detecting or even transmitting subtle electromagnetic signals, giving a scientific underpinning to ancient beliefs about the third eye's capacity for inner vision and extrasensory awareness. Among the most provocative findings related to the pineal gland is its suspected connection to dimethyltryptamine, or DMT, a naturally occurring compound with potent psychedelic effects. Though present in trace amounts in the human brain and other organisms, DMT is believed to induce deeply altered states of consciousness. Its molecular structure closely resembles that of serotonin, a neurotransmitter intimately tied to mood, perception, and cognition. This suggests that DMT could interface with the same neural pathways that shape our conscious experience, potentially unlocking dimensions of awareness far beyond the ordinary. While the full extent of DMT's role in the brain remains the subject of ongoing debate, some researchers hypothesize that the pineal gland may synthesize and release DMT during profound physiological events, such as birth, near-death experiences, and moments of intense spiritual awakening. These threshold states, where the boundaries between life and death blur, have long been associated with mystical visions and deep spiritual insight. Those who have encountered the DMT realm often report encounters with luminous beings, otherworldly dimensions, and a dissolving of the ego into a unified cosmic presence. Such experiences mirror the states described in ancient texts. Visions born not from dreams but from inner awakening, from the opening of the third eye. It is here that biology and mysticism appear to meet, where the sacred and the scientific merge into a shared language of transformation. Meditation, conscious breathing, mantras, crystals, and mindful awareness. These modern spiritual practices continue to echo ancient techniques, aiming not just to still the mind, but to activate the pineal gland, to awaken the inner eye, and to invite us into a more expansive encounter with the self and the universe. Activating the third eye is not a one-time event. It is a sacred journey, a harmonious fusion of ancient wisdom and modern mindfulness that invites us into elevated states of awareness and spiritual perception. Across countless traditions, this path has been charted through disciplines such as meditation, visualization, breathwork, and sacred sound. These practices, refined over generations, serve as tools not only for introspection, but for awakening the subtle energy centers that lie dormant within. Meditation, a universal practice found across nearly every spiritual lineage, plays a central role in this awakening. When practiced with intention, it stills the restless mind and draws consciousness inward, toward the space between the eyebrows, the spiritual locus of the third eye. Here, in the quiet of focused attention, one begins to sense a deeper realm unfolding behind the veil of thoughts. Visualization complements this process by engaging the creative and symbolic faculties of the mind. Many traditions recommend visualizing a radiant eye or a beam of luminous light at the brow center, an act that stimulates the energetic and neural connections associated with higher awareness. Conscious breathing, known in yogic traditions as pranayama, is equally essential. Techniques such as alternate nostril breathing balance the hemispheres of the brain, oxygenate the body, and invigorate the pineal gland, creating fertile ground for inner activation. The use of mantras, especially the primordial sound Om, has long been linked to the vibration of the third eye. Chanting this sacred syllable aligns one's inner frequency with cosmic resonance, quiets mental chatter, and directs vibrational energy toward the pineal center. These sounds are not merely ritualistic. They are vibrational keys that, when repeated with devotion, unlock the gateways of perception. Understanding and integrating these techniques marks an important stage in one's spiritual development. But true transformation begins when the benefits of an awakened third eye start to permeate daily life. These shifts are not confined to mystical experiences. They extend into the emotional, psychological, and even physical dimensions of our being. With the third eye activated, one becomes more attuned not only to the energies of the world, but also to the deeper truths that lie beneath appearances. Heightened intuition is one of the most significant gifts of this awakening. Intuition, the quiet inner knowing that transcends logic, begins to flourish, guiding decisions with clarity and alignment. You may find yourself sensing the right course of action without hesitation. Whether it's a career move, a life transition, or a new relationship, what once seemed ambiguous now becomes unmistakably clear, as though you are listening not with your ears, but with your soul. This heightened awareness brings a deeper understanding of emotional patterns and how they shape our choices. With this insight, you begin to alchemize negative emotions, fear, anger, sadness, into higher expressions of love, compassion, and joy. Emotional resilience increases. There is less reactivity and more reflection. Life no longer feels like a series of unpredictable events, but a meaningful flow you can consciously engage with. With the third eye open, perception changes. You begin to see beyond surface appearances and intuit the hidden dynamics behind people and situations. This clarity cultivates greater empathy and connection, a recognition that every being is part of the same unfolding whole. Challenges that once felt overwhelming are now approached with a broader perspective, revealing opportunities for growth and learning that were previously obscured. Such enhanced perception also serves as a form of spiritual protection. You begin to recognize and avoid toxic patterns and environments, safeguarding not only your mental health, but your spiritual trajectory. And the benefits are not only metaphysical. As the pineal gland regulates melatonin production, its activation often leads to improved sleep cycles and increased vitality. Many report deeper, more restorative sleep, along with a sustained sense of energy and well-being throughout the day. Regular engagement with third eye practices fosters deep relaxation, reduces anxiety, and promotes holistic healing. The nervous system becomes more balanced, the mind more centered, and the body more receptive to harmony. In a world that pulls our attention outward, the third eye invites us to return inward, where stillness births insight and insight births transformation. These benefits, both spiritual and practical, demonstrate the transformative power of activating the third eye. Yet it is essential to remember that the journey is deeply personal. Each individual will experience this awakening in their own unique way, shaped by their level of spiritual maturity, the consistency of their practices, and their openness to inner exploration. While the opening of the third eye can yield profound insights and clarity, the path is not without its challenges. As with any meaningful transformation, obstacles arise not to deter us, but to refine us. Facing these trials with compassion and practical awareness is a vital part of the process. One of the most common challenges is impatience. Many expect immediate results from third eye practices, only to be met with silence or subtle shifts that feel imperceptible. But spiritual development is not linear. Like cultivating a garden, it requires time, care, and consistency. Impatience can cloud your perception and lead to discouragement. To navigate this, it is crucial to establish a steady rhythm, a daily ritual of returning inward with patience and presence. Each breath, each meditation is a quiet step forward. Doubt is another frequent companion on this journey. You may question whether your efforts are working or whether you're imagining everything. These doubts often arise from limiting beliefs or fear of the unknown. The key to transcending them lies in education and trust. Reading spiritual texts, engaging in community discussions, and seeking guidance from experienced practitioners can help you build a strong foundation and dissolve uncertainty with understanding. Inconsistency is perhaps the most silent saboteur. The demands of modern life often pull us away from our spiritual commitments. Yet it is consistency that slowly opens the door. Creating sacred time, whether morning or evening, however brief, signals to the self that this work matters. Link your practices to daily habits, a breath before sleep, a moment of silence upon waking, a mantra whispered in stillness. These small acts of devotion accumulate into deep transformation. Fear also emerges as a natural response to the unfamiliar. The awakening of the third eye can trigger intense visions or sensations that challenge your sense of reality. For some, this can feel disorienting or overwhelming. It's vital to meet these moments with a calm heart and grounded awareness. Remember that such experiences are not threats, but invitations, signposts of expanding consciousness. Practices like deep breathing, grounding meditations, or even stepping outside into nature can help stabilize the energy and integrate what arises. External resistance can also complicate the path. The lack of support from friends or family, societal skepticism, and the distractions of everyday life can create an unsupportive environment for inner work. This is why cultivating a sacred space, physically and emotionally, is crucial. Surround yourself with like-minded souls, even if only virtually, and protect your sacred time with intention. Community, even in small doses, can provide the encouragement needed to keep going. Above all, remember this: the spiritual path is not a race. What works for one person may not resonate with another, and that's perfectly natural. Your body, your intuition, and your inner rhythm are the wisest guides. Be willing to adjust, to experiment, to evolve. Flexibility and self-trust are essential allies on this unfolding journey. And perhaps most importantly, nurture self-compassion. The path of third eye activation is not always easy. It may stir deep emotions, surface long-buried fears, or confront you with parts of yourself you've avoided. Be gentle. Each step, however small, is meaningful. Celebrate the subtle shifts. Learn from the stumbles. Growth is not measured in grand leaps, but in your willingness to keep walking with curiosity and courage. Thank you for taking this journey with me. If this message resonated with you, consider offering your support. Like, subscribe, and share this video so that others may also find inspiration along their path. I would love to hear your thoughts, your reflections, your experiences. Feel free to share them in the comments below. Until next time, take care of your inner world, and may the light of your awareness continue to expand.